Greetings Internet, DDA here, and welcome to another local match, Portal Comics and Gaming. I think a few weeks ago now. We got Brian facing off with his black Krillin deck against Dan with his Namekian cell. Good to see two meta titans going after each other. I definitely learned this weekend at Pittsburgh how strong black Krillin is and how it is a mountain to topple over. It's even good against Cell, which makes it just great. So Brian's going to start out first here, drop down ball 1. What a great first turn drop. Ball 1 increasing his damage, and that if he plays any other balls, it protects them against him. So looks like Dan drew into a flinch there. Not really a good draw early game right now. Is going to discard and rejuvenate it. Brian dropping the smoothness down. I can't really see what he has in his hand. And the declaration. Just getting ultimate value. Not even discarding a card. Looks like Dan's going to keep Hybrid Defense there. Discard Sphere and a Hurried Quest. Wonder how many Hurried Quests he plays in his build. Personally, I kind of like it at 2. Brian going to start out with the scat maneuver here, naming actually Aerial Knee. Pretty good call there. Looks like Dan is actually putting those in his discard pile. Only getting 2 Aerial Knees. Looks like his hand is Leaping Kick and Hybrid Defense right now. So here comes the Leaping Kick train. I mean, so, you know, once, unless you have a D-level card, like you're holding ball 2, once you see Cell hit 2, you know he's going to hit 3 in Namekian. So banishing ball 1 and ball 6, pretty good picks there, definitely good. Ball 1's already on the field, and ball 6 really isn't going to help against Krillin. So another reason why I love Leaping Kick is because it actually takes out dead draw cards. So I mean, like, you know, both ball 1 and ball 6 would be dead draws in this situation, so always good. Brian shooting off his Krillin power, responding with, it looks like he thinks that whole thing is his banish pile. Okay, there it goes. There's the discard pile. Good to get that Hurried Quest back into his life deck for late game. It is possible that Brian will end up playing, you know, 7-4 possibly. Using his mastery, having the ball 2 in hand, certainly not good in this situation. So gonna get a card draw, possibly push some damage here. Brian does have black power up on the board. So it's really sad that he stopped the upward dodge power there, but that's why upward dodge disc is so good. Blinding energy move being responded with the Hybrid Defense. So just Brian doing a little bit of damage to himself. Looks like this is going to be a long game. So Dan actually initiating combat on here, not using his level 2 power, already had the Leaping Kick in his hand. Must have a really good hand if he's not using his level 2 power on the aggressive. So gonna get rid of ball 3. Probably a good play there, I would say. You know, just not wanting to give Krillin ball 3. So Brian responding with his mastery, dropping the max will from hand. He's got a lot of declarations on the board. Dan doing his power being responded to with a finger block. It's good that Brian had the block there. That would have been a lot of damage, and he would have gotten ball 1 for next combat. Looks like Dan has a hybrid defense and a energy guard in his hand. So a really defensive hand. I'm not seeing many. Brian's not really drawing the Destructo disc that much. So looks like both players pass. Brian not having enough cards in his discard pile to actually level sell. Another really good reason he had that block. So I didn't really get a chance to see Brian's hand. I wonder what he has. So he's going to initiate combat. Looks like Dan has a chest explosion in his hand. I think Brian passed. He must have a really defensive hand. Starting out with the chest explosion here. Not really sure. Not really sure if I would do that because Krillin does still have his energy. Gonna respond with the swipe just to get some banishing. Always good. Always good to banish some things from Namekian. Responding with Krillin power, obviously, to get rid of the Nappa. Just want to get rid of that. Dan having a lot of blocks in his hand. So it looks like Brian did his power, and then Dan did his power. Brian responded with the enhanced reflexes. Brian's gonna shoot off the foreshadowing, and since he removed Dragon Balls, he's gonna get 4. Tons of banished cards over there. Looks like Dan just shooting up his anger with his mastery, just trying to get to level 4. Double team being responded with by the hybrid defense. Sad he doesn't have a knee block in there to actually bump him up to 4. So I actually don't remember what he put on the bottom there to put on the top. So he's keeping the hybrid defense. Oh, it was a chest explosion, so he's going to put it on the top again. So actually, I haven't seen any Namekian growths over there on the cell side, Dan side. So I'm not sure if he plays them or he just isn't drawing them. Him drawing his own ball 2, very good choice there, getting rid of both the smoothness and the black power-up. So actually taking a card away from Brian's hand. That's going to be very significant. Brian dropping down another black power-up. Black power-up, of course, being one of the best cards late game. Especially when you talk about a personality like Krillin, who can get in combat, do a black foreshadowing, do an unstoppable disc, block an attack, and then get out of combat. So, looks like Brian is initiating combat. Dan doing visiting for visiting. Looks like he drew into ball 7, hurried quest, I think. Yeah, hybrid defense and chest explosion. I mean, I'm thinking about the visiting for visiting play right now, and I'm trying to decide if it was a good play or a bad play. Brian does have 2 declarations on board, so his visiting was going to go anyway. It was gone. Shooting off hurried quest, actually a really good play here, bouncing and using ball 2 and getting rid of that other black power, ball 4. Getting rid of that other black power, really good play there. Brian using blinding to get out of combat. He did just Dan just did use the hurried quest, so that will hit him. The hybrid defense. Dan properly discarding his ball 7 to the bottom of his deck. Obviously, he can just mastery that to top. Shooting down that visiting that he visiting for, and then ball 7. Immediately choosing chest explosion, a good choice there. I mean, Naba's extremely strong against Black Krillin. He hasn't played any black searching techniques yet. Thinking about getting Sphere or Overwhelming Power, both are pretty good choices. I would say, personally, I would get the Sphere. But getting Hybrid Defense, putting those 3 on top. Milling a Foreshadowing. It is sad that Dan is not hit level 4 yet. Now, granted, Brian just keeps using blinding energy moves, so maybe it's a good thing he's not level 4 yet. Shooting down Dragon Ball Radar, always a good choice to play. Always, it just gives you so many options. Ball 7 is on the field, but ball 2 is not. Brian contemplating entering on here. Does he have a 3rd blinding energy move? So it looks like he is going to enter combat here. And shooting off the visiting for an immediate overwhelming power. Just forcing the Dragon Ball Radar. I don't see much else that he's going to get other than 2, of course. So Dan does have enough anger to easily jump back up to 3. Which he's going to do now. So, you know, the ball 2 not doing the most of things. So Brian did shoot off his power there, being responded by the Namekian Energy Guard for more rejuvenations. Doing the chest explosion, I can only assume for Turles at this point. Yep, Turles. You know, Nappa is significant, but responding with the swipe. He does have Declaration on board, so possibly choosing Nappa would have been better. Just to shut off his Declaration. But it would have pushed extra damage if that chest explosion would have hit. So Brian passes, and Dan responds with his level 3 power just to hit 7 life cards. Brian declaring his ball 2, declaring, whatever you want to say, using his black declaration. Ball 2 back in deck. You know, the one disadvantage with Cell is that unless you de-level him twice, it really doesn't almost not affect him. Like, it almost doesn't affect him at all. As you can see, Brian playing down the ball 2 there, he's still going to get up to 4. So mastering his own ball 7 in hand for Dan's ball 7. At this point in the game, looks like both players are at around 25 cards, 20 cards. Brian might be a little bit less at this point, after taking that 7 clean damage to the face. But this ball 7 will surely swing things around. So Brian actually choosing to go with an energy block instead of a physical block, possibly for the endurance. Dropping both a hybrid defense and sphere for keeping overwhelming power. Now, I had a lot of players this weekend tell me that sphere was just needed. It was just a needed card. And, you know, seeing this match, seeing how much Black Krillin was there, almost agree with him. So he's going to get his card. He's going to get his card advantage. Brian does have the blinding energy move, so keeping the overwhelming power actually ended up working out great for him there. Getting to crit the ball 7 back. Hoping, yes, he's choosing sphere. Not much else to choose there. Actually, that is a pretty good choice. Krillin actually does play a lot of physical attacks like Choke, Playful Punch, and especially in Brian's variant, he plays 3 black double teams. So yeah, Brian actually having to pass, having 2 physical attacks. You can see how good the choosing of that physical block was. So Dan initiating combat, getting a card with with his 4. If only there was another Dragon Ball in play, getting a Namekian Hurried Quest would just be excellent. But the chest explosion will do just as well. It'll do a lot of damage. He can get Nap out again and increase his Turles buff. So that's actually what he's going to open up with. Just always search for the discard pile first, always, just, you know, just in case you miss him, because you only get one. As soon as you choose your life deck, if he's in the discard pile, you can't get him, so definitely choose that. So responding with the enhanced reflexes to stop, it's a really powerful attack. I think it would have did 8 life cards and 3 power stages, so don't want to take that to the face. Dan is definitely superior in life cards right now. Looks like Brian is going to pass, and Dan's just going to shoot down with his power. I think he should be actually 5 above 0 there. He does have 2 hybrid defenses in Sphere. So it doesn't look like Dan's going to be doing much damage this combat. So Dan doing his level 3 power, being responded with upper dodge. Does he have the disc? No. Just going to pass, and then Dan's just going to remove 5 to shoot back up. Gonna leave that Foreshadow and Blinding Energy move in there. Gonna get rid of the Blinding Energy move. So tough choice there. I'm not sure if I would have kept the Sphere or not at this point in the game. Definitely matters what attacks he actually has left in his life deck. I feel like we haven't seen Black searching technique at all over there all game. Drawing the 2 for the D level, pretty good play there. Going to take a card away from Cell. Especially since he got rid of the Blinding Energy move. Brian knows that he's going to have to start staying in combat soon. All of his power-ups are gone. So, discarding Sphere, rejuvenating Disc. Oh, that Disc would have helped him last combat. So, not going to choose not to crit the ball too. Only just giving him a chance to crit it back on him if he takes it. Getting knee block. I think I saw a Hurried Quest. That actually would be pretty awesome if that was Hurried Quest in its hand right now. Didn't get a clear look. Starting off with his level 3 power, connecting, doing 7 damage. Clean cut to the face. Getting Disc, Foreshadow, upward dodge, great damage there. This is Brian having his hand. I think he has a Destructo Disc. Going to start with Confrontation. So we have Optic Blast, 2 blocks, and I think that one that raises stages and does life cards. So it doesn't have a Hurried Quest, but he does have Optic Blast, and I think that's probably going to be, oh no, the Hand Cannon or whatever it is. The one that draws. It's actually a pretty good card in this deck. Shooting off the Optic Blast, but, you know, if he left it in his hand, it's obvious he has the block for it. There's no way he would have taken an Optic Blast to the face there. Just shooting off his Mastery. You know, getting more mill, more banishing. Lots of banished cards over there on Dan's side. So combat's over. Of course, getting rid of Time as a Warrior's Tool. Always the best card you could ever banish in someone's discard pile. Brian with an excellent draw there. Did he actually keep 2 cards? I don't think he did, because I think he just... Oh, no, he does. And one of them is a disc. So really strong here. He can get out of combat. It's not looking good for Brian right now. Unless he can do some crazy Dragon Ball looping, I think this might be getting close to over. We'll see. We'll see how OP Black Krillin really is. Looks like, is he gonna enter and power up? I think that's what happened. Brian only actually has 4 cards left in his life deck. Looks like Dan drew into an overtime, and I'll dig your grave. An Optic Blast and a Draining Attack. Not really deciding to enter on that. You know, he at this point he doesn't have to. He knows Brian has to enter on him. So Dan searching because he knows this is the last combat. Getting a hurried quest definitely is the superior pick there. You know, just getting the Dragon Balls off the field so Krillin can't crit him and take one is the way you want to go. Looks like he draws ball 5, an overtime, and a backhand. Or is that energy guard? Starting off with this for 5, gonna instantly crit the ball 7. Suddenly this might turn around for Brian, depending on what's in Brian's hand right now. If he has enough blocks to respond to Dan's attacks and has maybe another disc in his hand, this might change pretty quickly. This looks like Dan's gonna shoot off overtime, rejuvenate, not get any mill, but go for an energy combat. Oh, he was going for flinch there, but of course it is an energy combat. So getting the energy block, I'm not sure if he had other blocks in his hand. I think he might have a physical block. No, he actually has no blocks in his hand.
I choose a card and rejuvenate it, and this card is when it's rejuvenated.
This is tough. Really tough combat here. Looks like Bride's actually going to shoot off choke. That is going to hurt. 6 life cards straight to the face. Dan now only has about 6 cards left with that Dragon Ball. Yep. So shooting off another overtime for rejuvenation, but gonna tutor an energy combat, and looks like he has 1 left and can actually draw possibly an attack or something. Another disc, and that might actually be game. Wow. I know it's not gained by 1 card. So Dan has a single action to pull this out. He has that arm cannon or whatever it's called. He's actually going to shoot down. Really just taking a chance here. Just saying to himself, you can't do 1 damage to me. Even if he has a 4 shadow in hand, this game is over. I did see most of them gone. He's going to shoot off his power, but he did have the finger block to respond to it. So it doesn't look like Brian has anything left that he can use. Mastering a Dragon Ball just to put a Dragon Ball into his life deck. And Dan doing the same thing. So he can actually shoot off the energy attack if he wants. I mean, he can possibly kill him with this. Here it comes. 5 life cards. 1, 4, 5. Wow. And that endurance just playing such a vital role. Really close game here. Just Krillin just pushing so much damage in the last combat. 2 Destructo Discs and a Choke, all connecting. That's 16 cards clean off the top of Dan's life deck. And he didn't really hit his level 3 power too much in this game. He only hit it once out of 3 times that he used it. So just a lot of control cards in Dan's hand and not much damage. A lot of just drawing 2 dead cards in that hand really hurt him. The Hurried Quest proved to be actually ultimately being a bad pick because he had the disc in his hand to just crit the ball away. He could Hurried Quest the 7 into his hand, which would... I mean, if he had cards back into his life deck, that would matter. Yep, just going to do it just for funsies. Too bad that, yeah, I didn't see any Gross over there. I don't think he plays them. I'm not sure. Yep. So actually having Dragon Balls in his deck to replenish his life deck, but not having enough. Good game. Krillin pulling it out by the skin of his teeth. It looked good for Cell there for a while, but Krillin just doing 16 damage in the last combat, blocking Cell's power. Good game.